Hey everybody, this is Perch. A bunch of smaller things going on in comics. We're about 1 week away. If you kind of track this month to month, then you know that next week is the week when we'll start to get a bunch of kind of announcements and teases and promo images. And I would expect a lot to start happening next week when it comes to Marvel, because the next solicitation we're going to get is for October, and that's going to be the first month of the Penguin Random House deal. And so you're going to get a lot more where that's concerned. So I'd expect a lot of teases, a lot of kind of promo images, a lot of just kind of juice up hype and surprise for the third week of July, which is when we should get our solicitations. But that should start to kick in next week, and we'll get a bunch of kind of rapid fire announcements as it goes from there. DC will not want to just sit quietly, or maybe they will. I mean, it's anyone's guess really sometimes with marketing. But so I expect this to be kind of a busy news month for new titles and kind of explaining what the last quarter of the year is going to be like. Both companies, DC is going to march to their Crisis event. Marvel is going to march to a bunch of relaunches and kind of new creative teams shuffling around on books. Certainly the fallout of Inferno and everything that's happening in the X line there, leading up to kind of the bigger issues and events that Jason Aaron is doing with Mephisto and everything else. So a lot of different things in the air, certainly where Marvel's concerned and DC is concerned. And for that matter, Image as well. I mean, Image had a semi-successful, I would say, last 12 months of trying to get some new titles off the ground. Certainly Noctera, what they're doing with Scott Snyder. We expect to hear some big moves out of them in terms of some other titles. We also have some news coming out of Comixology. They have a bunch of creators that they have signed, and there's going to be more announcements there. So in general, I think the second half of July should be pretty newsworthy. But for now, it's less so. What do we have going on in the world of comics? Well, we already talked to you about the death of Doctor Strange, and that comic is a 5-part series that is, it's funny because a lot of people are forgetting the fact that comic characters always seem to come back to life. And so they're saying, like, how can Marvel be so stupid as to kill off Doctor Strange right before the Doctor Strange 2 movie? Well, again, there's like zero chance that Doctor Strange is going to be dead in the comics when there's Doctor Strange 2, the movie. There's like no chance of it. Now, granted, there is some chance, but I guess better, a very little chance, very little. How will they bring back Doctor Strange to life if they go to all the trouble of killing him? It will be really no problem at all, barely an inconvenience. I'm going to run that a bit into the ground as well. We are hearing that the Death of Doctor Strange event is expanding. So in addition to the 5-part series that is the Death of Doctor Strange, we'll also be getting one-shots. And it sounds like we're getting 5 one-shots to go along with this event, kind of different characters responding, in theory, to how it goes. The first one being the Death of Doctor Strange Avengers, #1, which has a pretty awesome cover by Steve Skarosh, who we've interviewed on this channel and has an amazing comic post-Americana right now that you should be checking out. But that's from Image, not Marvel, of course. In this, basically, the Avengers one-shot is going to the Juggernaut, is made more powerful or unleashed or crazy or whatever, but Cyttorak, the Crimson Bands of Cyttorak, are broken or unleashed, or maybe they're just left in the dressing room at a department store, one of those things, when Doctor Strange dies. And so this causes the Juggernaut to kind of run amok, and the Avengers have to step in and do their Avengery thing. But we will be getting other ones. From what I understand, something to do with the Hulk is going to be in there, something to do with Iron Man, Captain Marvel, and Thor, probably, and I would assume Spider-Man's in there as well, given that Doctor Strange is appearing in Spider-Man toward the end of the year. So the movie, I mean. So anyway, that's going on, and this Death of Doctor Strange movie continuing to give us a glimpse of what it would look like if Doctor Strange was to die. The way it's worded pretty much ensures that Doctor Strange will be alive and well at the end of the series, and this is a how does he cheat death kind of thing. But we'll see. Meanwhile, in kind of other news and comics, we don't have a lot of other relaunches to kind of catch up on. The general focus of things is around, certainly people are bitching about Captain America again and kind of all that stuff. Fox News and some of the news agencies started talking about Captain America. But what they're not talking about or missing is DC Comics is referencing the Capitol riot / insurrection / party in Nancy Pelosi's house / most dangerous thing to happen to our country since the Civil War. Depending on who you are, pick your option from those, and kind of we can run with it. But DC Comics has a reference to it in Suicide Squad, so that's in the Get Joker series that is coming out. So that's very exciting. That's being released in August, and so we'll have lots of that. I have to believe, by the way, that there's going to be a lot of I don't know. There's going to be a lot of references to the Capitol riot and kind of all that stuff. There's just going to be a lot of that. Unfortunately, comic writers are predictable, if nothing else, than to their ability to want to reference current events that nobody cares about. I don't have firm word on this, but it certainly looks like it from solicitations and kind of previews. Children of the Atom appears to be coming to a close. So it's going to be the next book to either be canceled or not canceled, depending on your perspective of whether it was a limited series all along or an ongoing, or maybe it was a limited series and they sell it as an ongoing, but then it's a limited series again. Anyway, it appears to be a limited series or canceled, or again, whatever you would like to, wherever you would like to go with it. That seems to be the general reaction that we have there. Other new comics, we are going to see some additional things coming out of Black Widow. So you can expect more things in the Widowverse. Ooh, is that a thing? That sounds terrible, actually. So there will be more of that coming out. We are expected to get the new creative team for Captain America now that the Red Skull storyline with Ta-Nehisi Coates has basically wrapped up, and that is also over. And then we are expected to get some additional spin-offs of Spider-Man. So some further clarity of that. In addition to the group writing team, some additional comics that they're putting out where Spider-Man is concerned is also on the table. So anyway, like I said, a lot to kind of look forward to over the next couple weeks where it comes to comics, as we really kind of set up what the end of the year is going to look like. Typically speaking, if you're talking about news, the months of July and August tend to be fairly newsworthy because the comic companies want to get kind of the short-term announcements out for October, November. So kind of the end of the year, it gets locked and loaded. And then they start to at least hint at what 2022 is going to look like. Remember, if you're just kind of counting forward, September would officially be December in terms of the solicitations. Just like July is October, August is November, and September is December. So they have to get this news out really in the next 60 days, or kind of the big events that they want to kick off for the next year are going to start leaking before they're ready for it, before they've properly done press releases at USA Today. So that's what we have. Again, lots of stuff to look forward to, maybe. News anyway. My big question for you is the death of Doctor Strange. Marvel is banking on this event. What about you? Are you into it? Are you not into it? How do you feel about that? And how do you feel about kind of this, this push on additional work around the Capitol and that kind of rip from the headline stuff? By the way, as one kind of final thing, I am noticing there are a handful of nice titles coming out from Viz also for the end of the year. So while everybody is getting very excited about what Marvel will do with Penguin Random House, Viz is basically saying, yeah, our October is going to feature new volumes of Spy X Family and Blue Exorcist, My Hero Academia, and then a really incredible $200 Demon Slayer box set, which is the entire 23 volumes of Demon Slayer with a booklet and a poster, again, for $200. But that thing is that is priced in a way that is going to just do incredibly well for the holiday. So that's their answer. I think it's going to be tough. They've got One Punch Man coming out then. They've got Chainsaw Man coming out in October. There is a lot that Viz is going to be put out, like almost all the big hits that they produce for manga is going to be pushed out in October. And that's going to make, that's going to make it at least a little tough for for Marvel to completely grab all the headlines. That even though it's expensive, that Demon Slayer set is just going to be a beast in shops. Anyway, let me know what you're buying, and thanks for listening.